Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to make this beginner-friendly little folio out of a couple of envelopes, some ribbon, and some scrapbook paper. If you're new here, my name is Bug, and I do paper crafts and paper craft adjacent crafts, and I'm so happy you're here today. So the first thing that I'm doing is going to prep my envelopes. So I already made a mark here. Whenever I'm working with multiple sheets or envelopes and I know that I'm going to have to use a piece of ribbon or a magnet or Velcro, I always try to mark on the base page so that I remember to put that before I lay the paper over it, or before I, put the embellishments on it. So for this one, I have two marks right here. For this one that I just showed, you'll see that the ribbon is attached through the back. So I have some scrapbook paper and the ribbon comes out here. So you can pull it onto the front flap, and then it comes out here over the flap. That way you can tie it up. And I like to use, for something like this, especially if I'm using the really thin scrapbook paper, I like to use a really thin sheer ribbon. That way you don't get a lot of bulging and crinkling. Not that it matters. Sometimes I'll still use whatever is going to match my color combination, but that makes it a little more flat. So for this one, we're going to do it a little different, and I'll show you as we go. Instead of the ribbon being across, it's going to go north and south instead of east and west. Just going to attach these two. Going to take that off. Going to add some glue here. I'm using 5x7 envelopes, but you can use this for any size envelopes. I'm not going to give a lot of dimensions because this is just kind of a technique that you can use to build off of any envelopes that you have. So I'm going to kind of lay it in that fold right there, and let's see. Let's do it this way. There we go. Make sure it's aligned at the top and bottom and just lay it flat. Ideally, this would have been exact, but I'm not even worried about it. So now you can see we have a little folio with a flap. You can use, like I said, magnets or other things to adhere. If I were using a magnet, I would put the magnets on now, because they're going to be covered up with the scrapbook paper, and you have to use the extra, is it neodymium? The extra strength ones. They make ones that are fairly flat. And then, of course, if I'm using Velcro, I just put that on after I put the scrapbook paper on. So next, I'm going to take a length of this same ribbon and I want it to be fairly large. I'm just using one piece. If you make it extra long, then it can wrap around a couple times. Doesn't have to be extra long. just going to find the middle of my ribbon and the middle of my page. And I am going to just use some glue stick now. We're going to cover this up with scrapbook paper anyway, so I just kind of want to get it in the general area. Again, finding the middle and putting the middle in the middle. Just about like that. All right, now that we've got our ribbon down, I'm going to bring in this piece of scrapbook paper. When I measure the scrapbook paper, I measure the base page, and then I subtract like 1/4 of an inch so that you get a tiny bit of border around all of the sides. So I'm just going to put some glue down and work my way from one side to the other. You kind of do this however you're comfortable doing it. Make sure it's adhered well. I'm going to flip it over. Essentially, this is what our book looks like. We just want to fold this so that it goes over the flap. Just eyeball it, not a big deal. And we are going to glue it down until it's almost touching this fold mark. So you can take this thing off if you want. I'm going to live dangerously. So if you want to do math, you can math the back of the envelope plus the back of the flap plus the inside of the flap and measure and make a cut with your paper trimmer. But that's not what I'm doing today. I am just going to find the fold. I'm going to work that envelope flap. Now we have a place to cut. Now you can cut just on the inside or the outside of this. I'm just going to try to be right in the middle and we'll see how I do. I used to never ever use just regular scissors for these kinds of cuts. Seems good. It's a little wonky, but we're all a little wonky, I think. Yeah. Once we're done, you're not even going to notice that. So I'm going to put this piece aside. Again, if you wanted to cut this at the angle of those flaps, you definitely can. I'm not going to do that today. Here's where we are so far. I'm going to take this piece that I cut earlier and glue it down to this page. Got a lot of things on the desk right now. So let's do this. The scrapbook paper I'm using today is this designer pad from Colorbok, and it's Delilah. I don't know that this exists in the world anymore, but if I find it, I can link it. It is really pretty. Some of the images aren't my style, but it has some really beautiful florals in it. and then some fun kind of wallpapery feeling pages as well. This one, that one. Okay. Oh, I was going to use this to glue on. Just going to line it up the best I can at this point. If you think about putting a focal point on this part, you can do that, you know, with the entire page, or consider that it's going to be closed a lot of the time when you're looking at it. So maybe you want to find its location based on the flap being closed. Did that make sense? Okay. So now I have two other pieces that I already cut down. That's not even one of them. It's this one and this one. So for these, we are going to glue them down, and then we are going to retain the pockets in the back. We are going to add paper pockets for the front. But with this system, you can have something of a hidden pocket. If you fill it up with a lot of bulky paper, then it's, you know, really not hidden. I don't know if we need a hidden pocket, but let's see here. Just going to glue it until right about where that pocket starts. I'm going to lay it down, and I'll show you what I did there on the next one. A little too high. There we go. Now I'm going to put glue right down in front of the opening. Let me see if I can put something in there so you can see it better. Here's where the envelope pocket is. So I'm going to put glue around this part of the envelope, leaving the pocket open. So if you have something small like this, something relatively flat, you can put it in the pocket and it's somewhat hidden. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So again, I just kind of eyeball. This is the orientation I'm going to have the paper. So I know I want this much of it glued completely. Don't make fun of my method. And the same thing. Just gonna leave a little bit of a border around. Make sure this part is glued down. I'm gonna lift it up. Put some glue here and down here. And then I do have two little squares out of the paper that I want to use as pockets. I'm trying to decide what the orientation is, and I'm not sure what it is. Is it this way or is it this way? I'm just going to use one of each. Usually I would do this with wet glue, but I am... my wet glue bottle is empty. And I'm waiting for a new decanting bottle to get here, so I'm just going to use the glue stick for this, and it will be just fine. You can, of course, do this a little lower. You can make your pocket larger. You can make it go all the way across. If you're going to do one pocket that goes all the way across, you might want to consider that too much bulk in the middle is going to keep it from closing flat. But with just one piece of paper that's this thin, it's not really gonna bother anything. So I'm gonna do this one this way. Glue stick is okay for pockets. I prefer wet glue, and then of course you just don't want to use like tape runner or ATG if you don't have to. I find that you can stick things in the pocket and it'll get under that tape because it doesn't dry. It's always tacky. And so now I have two little pockets. Just an index card for some journaling. So here's our little folio. We have the covered flap, the two pockets, and you have these hidden pockets in the back. It is great for some happy mail or as an ephemera keeper. You can put some photos in there. And of course, this can also be used as the base for a notebook. If you were wanting to add some pages and sew them or staple them into the spine, you could do that. Same with this one. Now this one I didn't make today, but it's the one that has the ribbon that just comes across. So if you want to do it this way, you would just put the ribbon here. It would come out the end of the flap and the end of the back page, just like that. This one will actually wrap around a couple times. Room for growth, just in case you want to put a bunch of things in there. Thank you so much for watching this one. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next one.